more drink. Oh yeah. Get another bottle out. Let's shoot the shit. Sit back down for just one more drink. Oh yeah. Here's to us. Here's to love. All the times that we fucked up. Here's to you. Fill the glass. 'Cause the last few days have kicked my ass. So let's give them hell. Wish everybody well. Here's to us. Here's to us. We stuck it out this far together. Put our dreams through the shredder. Let's toast, 'cause things got better. And everything could change like that. And all these years go by so fast. But nothing lasts forever. Here's to us. Here's to love. All the times that we messed up. Here's to you. Fill the glass. 'Cause the last few nights have kicked my ass. If they give you hell, tell them go fuck themselves. Here's to us. Here's to us. Here's to all that we kissed and to all that we missed. To the biggest mistakes that we just wouldn't trade. To us breaking up without us breaking down. To whatever's coming our way. Here's to us. Here's to us. Here's to love. All the times that we messed up. Here's to you. Fill the glass. 'Cause the last few nights have kicked my ass. If they give you hell, tell them go fuck themselves. Go fuck themselves. Here's to us. Here's to us. Here's to us. Here's to us. Here's to love. Here's to everybody well. Here's to us. Here's to love. Here's to us. Here's to us.
Well, welcome to the Gabbin' and the Games. I'm your host, Bacon Magma. None of that's true that I just said, except welcome to Gabbin' and Games. Good to see you. I'm your Papa Jaffe. You know, listen, I was thinking about this earlier. We almost made an Iron Man video game when we were at Sony Santa Monica. This was right after Twisted Metal Black, and this was before Marvel MCU kicked off and became what it is. This is back when it was going to be Tom Cruise in the lead role of Iron Man, Tony Stark. And we were pretty serious about it. We had Single Track or Incog, the guys who did Black, on the line. They were going to develop it. We went out and bought pretty much every Iron Man comic book in the entire fucking world. It ended up obviously not getting made. Some of the game design puzzles from it ended up in God of War, like the Lost Souls, the sand thing, listening to the sirens. That was originally going to be Tony Stark using his armor to find people trapped in a burning skyscraper, the Baxter Building. But you can't see, so you have to use your audio cues and all that shit. This was about, DA is saying, Jaffe, when was this? This was about 2001, end of 2001, I guess. And I only mention it because I don't know why, you know, certain things jog your memory. There was the guy I had who was going to be the Sony director. I was kind of thinking about directing it, and then I was like, nah, fuck it. I want to go make this thing called God of War, Dark Odyssey, whatever we were calling it. But I was, you know, the creative director, so I said, let me get this guy. And I'm not going to tell you his name. I don't even think he's in the business anymore. And I knew him up in Foster City where Sony was, or Burlingame, wherever the fuck it is now. I think they've moved the headquarters across a city line. It's still roughly the same place. But now I think it's gone from Foster City to San Mateo. Who cares? And I knew him up there. We were both comic fucking nerds. He worked at another big video game company. I want to say maybe it was EA. We became fast friends. His wife and my wife became friends. And when I got down to Santa Monica, I said, this is the guy. He would knock this fucking thing out of the park. We used to go spend $100 a week on comic books at Lee's Comics on El Camino. It was awesome. And we go down, And he comes down for like a visit to make sure he knows where to move and where his wife's going to move and all that. And me and some of the designers take him to the mall. And we go to the mall and, we walk around the mall and we get lunch and we go to the comic shop at the mall and we go to the GameStop and whatnot. And we come back and he flies home and we're like, cool, we found our guy. Next morning he calls up and he says, no, I can't come work for you guys. And I said, well, why not? What the fuck just happened? I thought everything went great. He said, when we were going to the mall, you guys, meeting me, and it was Mike Yum and Steve Serajoli. These are guys who were working on like Warhawk and Twisted Metal and Jet Moto and all that. It's like you guys were listening to Howard Stern in the car. And I said, yeah. And he's like, you guys were totally laughing at Howard Stern in the car. And I said, yeah, he's hilarious. This is back, when he was still on whatever, normal radio. And he says, well, you see, I find him highly offensive, and I am a Jewish person who believes in Christ. And I was like, wait, you mean Jews for Jesus? He says, no. He says, no, I'm just a Jew, but I believe in Christ. And I can't be a party to working with people who like Howard Stern. I'm not kidding you. This is what he said. I go to my boss, Alan Becker. He's like, is the deal done? I said, no. He says, what happens? What happened? I said, Howard Stern. That was that. Yeah, exactly. Aquadronic says, well, thanks to Howard Stern, we have God of War. You also have Gabbin' and Games. Welcome to the live version of Gabbin' and Games. We have a little bit of very interesting news to talk about today. I saw Bacon Magma's earlier comment, by the way, saying, oh, here's Jaffe again. Sony is failing. Look, I don't make the news, Bacon Magma. All I do is show up like a little Dickensian character with a little bowl of soup, and I've got it filled a little bit, and like, here's the news for today. This is what I've got. I didn't say what Jim Ryan said. I didn't say what Sony said. They said it, and we're going to talk about it. Connor Steinbach has been a member of the goddamn Cult of Calypso. Thank you, sir, for 19 months. 19 months. I appreciate it, buddy. He says, I was hoping the game was a continuation to the Arkham series. He's talking about Arkham Knights, which, of course, we're going to be talking about that very, very soon. But it's been said that it's not. Oh, well, it looks all right for an RPG. Well, okay, we'll get to that. But let's just say that, there's parts about it I like. I want to see how, this is not a spoiler. Batman is dead. Whatever, like he'll ever stay dead when it opens. I love Court of Owls, the kind of underground enemy to Batman that the first time I read The Court of Owls, which I think was just called the graphic novel The Court of Owls, it was like, I've never seen Batman lose his shit that much fighting a bad guy. So there's a lot to like about it, but they put out the first 15 minutes of gameplay today, and we're going to talk about that. We'll get to that in just a couple of minutes. So, yeah, Beats Games Live talking about this guy on Iron Man, the game I was just talking about working on. He says, obviously, Jaffe, you dodged a bullet because that guy was a nut. He turned down a job over Howard Stern. Yeah, I mean, on one hand, I don't think Santa Monica was a very inclusive place even back then. We wouldn't have been like, how dare you, you're a prude, you can't work with us. But it was very strange. It wasn't like we were going to force the guy to listen to Howard Stern. But maybe something else was going on. Who the fucking knows, man? Who the fucking knows? Okay, but before we get to Gotham Knights, we got some good stuff to talk about. I want to talk about my good pal John Garvin. Wouldn't surprise me if John Garvin's listening right now. And John, if you're listening, you goddamn right. You can call into the Discord and tell me your view on this. But I'm up late last night. I can't sleep so much, and I see this tweet, and I'll put it up on the TV screen for you there. Let me bring it up for you here. This is what he says. This is what Johnny Garvin tweeted last night. Because somebody tweets to John Garvin and says to him, hey, would you play the sequel to Days Gone? John Garvin's the director and writer and lead designer of Days Gone. Jeff Ross may have been the lead designer, the design director. But the thematic, the story, the dialogue, the characters, the scenarios, that's all Johnny John. He says, Johnny Garvin, would you play the sequel to Days Gone if somehow they continued it in the future? Right? And Johnny Garvin tweets this. This is what I responded to. I made a whole video and everything. He says, no, why would I play a sequel to something I spent 6 years creating, writing, and directing? Days Gone was mine. Anything created without me isn't real. Now, he and I got into a back and forth, not a argument, but a discussion. With John, it's always passionate, because with me, it's always passionate, which makes me happy. I always like talking to passionate people. And I was just like, that's really interesting. I made this whole video about it because I was like, that wasn't my response. When a lot of people asked me about God of War 2018, they did not believe me. I think they expected me to have more of a mentality like John has about Days Gone, where they're like, Jaffe, you must be so fucking salty. And I'm like, no, I'm really not. And I wasn't saying my Ray was wrong and John's is right or vice versa. I was just kind of making a video and talking about the differences. Okay. Whatever. It is what it is. It is what it is. But the thing that fascinated me later on, and this is just, I want to bring this up because I think John is coming at this from a very different place than I am. And John's a little bit older than I am, but I don't want to, we still have different experiences. And I don't know what his experiences are when it comes to being sold being sold on this idea of what creators and games should be. When we did God of War 1, we had all of the agents, we had all of the just other companies, your stars, you and Shannon, they took us around and, let's do a deal and let's really put some pressure on Sony so they'll give you this sweetheart of a deal, blah, 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 blah. And what became obvious very quickly is that we didn't really have any of the leverage that the agents wanted us to believe we had. I mean, they didn't want to believe it because they were trying to fuck us. They thought so as well. And it turned out that my lesson from that is in video games, brand is king. It's not like in movies where if you can get Steven Spielberg, at least back in the day, or Christopher Nolan, you can guarantee a certain kind of box office. Certainly it goes a little bit further with certain actors, although even that's not what it used to be. But John and I got to discussing this last night, and I said, look, even the biggest name in video games, which is Hideo Kojima, the best-selling Metal Gear ever is Metal Gear 5, which has sold about 7 million copies, which is great, but it ain't what you need. A hell of a lot more than that in the budget days of $250 million. And then he tweeted me, here's what I tweeted him. I says, my argument is that game directors in the AAA space do not move the needle enough for consumers to merit special contractual treatment, whether it's owning the IP or getting first dollar profit or whatever. I said, because the cost of games is too high and there are not near enough customers who buy $70 games based on who directed it. And then John wrote this back. John wrote, yes, and this must change. Why? Because creatives are those who create. And I think it's important for me to mention, because I think, at least from my perspective, obviously John sees it different. My perspective is that's just simply not true, and we are making bars of soap. I don't mean emotionally. Of course, I don't look at the games I've worked on like bars of soap. But the very fact that Twisted Metal 3 and 4 sold better than Twisted Metal 2 because of the brand, and a better car combat game was being made out in Utah called Road Trip, which tanked, sold barely, I don't even know if it sold 10,000 copies. Tells you all you really need to know. The vast majority of people don't know who Kojima is. They certainly don't know who I or John Garvin are. And so I like where he's coming from. Like, I would love for what he's saying to be true. But I've never seen any evidence, even when you're talking about the biggest video game designer in terms of fame in the world, I've never seen any evidence that the developer, the publisher is going to be like, you know what, I'm going to give this guy a sweetheart deal. Because, he makes fucking hits all the fucking time. I've never seen it. I've never fucking seen it. So anyway, there's a video up about it. I'm hoping I can get John back on the show pretty soon, because I do want to get his take. Because when I wrote him back, I said, man, I would love to believe what you're saying. I would love what you're saying to be true. How great. Can you imagine how rich I would be right now if people in the video game industry, or at least at a director, creative designer, programmer level, artist level, made the kind of money people in Hollywood above the line made. Are you kidding? I told John last night, I said, my dream home is this big, giant fucking cabin in the woods. Not too far in the woods. I can't get to Olive Garden, but in the woods with all the amenities, and it's cozy as fuck and all. I'd be living there. I'd be doing the stream from there. Trust me, I'd love that to be the case. I've just never seen that to be the case. Let me get some of these nice super chats from our members, which I appreciate very, very, very much. Thank you, fellas. We got Old School Gamers, been a member for 4 months. He knows I appreciate it. He says, can you react to the latest Callisto Protocol video? Yes, and I can do it right now, but I didn't know there was a Callisto Protocol video. Let me get this other super chat real quick, and then I'll search it up before we get to the next topic, which is Sony. Are they winning or are they whining? Solid Snake says, Jaffe, my apologies. I have been away from you, but I am back. I finally bought milk. My guess is what he's doing is he's doing a play on the dad went out to buy cigarettes, or I don't know what. Solid Snake, welcome back. It's good to have you, sir. Thank you so much for being part of our membership for 15 goddamn cockadoodie months. You goddamn know I appreciate it. Yeah, Rob the Mod says, Jaffe, we've seen Cabin in the Woods. It doesn't work out. Listen, the cabin I want. You ever seen the movie The Bodyguard with Kevin Costner? His dad has a cabin that he takes Whitney Houston to at the end of that movie, or around the end of that movie. Shit, that's my cabin of my dreams, baby. It's my cabin of my dreams. Okay. I'm not, no, fuck you, Brian East. Brian East says, I'm clearly baiting the Sony fanatics. I'm not. I'm going to tell you what they said. But first, let's look up Callisto Protocol real quick. Fuck you, Grave Doll. Stop talking about old people movies. Let me tell you something. The Bodyguard is a goddamn movie from the early 2000s, and it is a great fucking movie, and I'm sorry if your cinematic literacy only goes up to like the first time Nick Fury, told Tony Stark he was putting the Avengers together. Some of us have a little bit of a richer palate when it comes to the art of cinema, my good friend. Callisto Protocol. I don't think there's a new video. There might be. There's a performance review. The new enemy type. Callisto Protocol reveals new enemy type. Fuck you, Grave Doll. Sure, let me check it out. Let me see where it is. Callisto, is that what we're talking about? We've got some awesome creatures in Callisto. The creature team is unbelievable. This is blind. Fuck you, Grave Doll. I need you to do this. I need you to close all the windows tight, nail them shut, and turn on the gas, and just basically go to sleep. I'll talk to you later. Trust me, I'll talk to you later. That's not actually recommending anyone do that. Let's be clear. It's a joke. He said this, and he said this, and because he said it, he did it, and you're going to go to jail. I send me the link to the Callisto, or send it to Rob, or put it on the Discord. I'd love to pop it up and look at it, because tomorrow, The Mortuary's Assistant comes out. That is my second most anticipated game of the year. But my most anticipated game of the year is, what's that thing called? Callisto Protocol. So shoot it to me, baby. I'll take a look. Fuck you, Grave Doll. Okay. I want to talk about this. This is interesting as pie. This story's been going around. You guys know about it. This is what Bacon's worried that I'm trying to drag PlayStation owners. I'm not. I just think this is really interesting that the Brazilian regulators have just like America has a Federal Trade Commission, FTC, they have something called CADE, the Brazil's Administrative Council for Economic Defense. They look at, like every country or most countries have, a committee that looks at the deals that are going to be going around, and they say, hey, we think there might be a problem here in our view. Just because people in Brazil don't like the deal between Activision and Microsoft doesn't mean it's not going to go through. But for whatever reason, they were putting together a document assessing the situation, and they reached out to a number of game creators, developers, like publishers and whatnot, and said, hey, talk to us about this deal. What don't we know that we should be worried about, right? And the vast majority of people they talked to, they talked to everyone from Apple. There's a list of like 8 or 9 big publishers they talked to. All of them said, whatever, it's fine. Except Sony. Sony said two very interesting things. You have to have heard this, but I'm going to tell you because it builds a case. It builds a case. Hello, Brett Moore. First, when they're talking about Call of Duty, they say, no other developer can devote. Now, this is Sony talking to the Brazilian committee, CADE, about Call of Duty. This is Sony, right? I don't know what individual said it. No other developer can devote the same level of resources and expertise to game development. Well, that's weird. Even if they could, Call of Duty is heavily entrenched so that no rival, no matter how relevant, can overtake it. Call of Duty has been the top-selling game for nearly every year over the past decade, and for its genre, it's overwhelmingly the best-selling game. It is synonymous with first-person shooters and essentially defines that category. Okay. Well, let's be really clear first off. Call of Duty, Activision had their earnings call, I think it was today. Two of their biggest Achilles heels right now are Call of Duty Vanguard, which did not come close to performing, and Call of Duty Warzone. Obviously, most people, including me, are very highly anticipating Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, which comes out this year. But Call of Duty has been, bleeding, not bleeding, that makes it sound like it's about to die, but it has definitely been leaking active users over the last couple of years. Okay, so Sony painting it like this, it's a little hyperbolic, but that's fine, that's business. I thought it was interesting that they said no other developer can devote the same level of expertise to game development. I'm pretty sure that Santa Monica or Naughty Dog could absolutely take the Call of Duty developers in terms of technical expertise of game development. Maybe not resources, but technical expertise, come on now. But here's what I really don't like that they said. Even if they could do that, says Sony, Call of Duty is heavily entrenched so that no rival, no matter how relevant, can overtake it. Now, there's one of two things going on. It's probably, maybe them both could be true. The first thing is Sony's like, I don't give a fuck if I'm telling these motherfuckers the truth. I'll tell them this. Anything we can do to help that deal not go through is good business for Sony. And that's right. If that deal doesn't go through, Sony's going to breathe a sigh of relief, as they should. So it could just be like, dude, we'll fucking, as long as we're not breaking the law, as long as we're not lying under oath or something, we'll say things that I could back up. One could back up that you can't compete with Call of Duty. You could back it up, but come on. I mean, it's definitely you could compete with it, especially now where it's bloody and weakened a little bit. But the other thing is, let's assume they're not doing that. Let's assume Sony's not sitting around going, let's just push the legal buttons just so we can do whatever we can to derail the deal. This kind of sounds a little bit like they're running scared. To basically take a little bit of the piss out of their own fucking teams, Activision does better game development. Really? Our teams, God knows those fucking teams are building a Call of Duty competitor. How's that feel being those guys going, what the fuck? What the fuck, Sony? You're telling Brazil we can't fucking compete? The whole point was we wanted to have our own Call of Duty. So it looks like they're running scared a little bit, but that could just be like, Bacon Magma says, people looking for something, right? But then you look at the other thing they said. Same deal, talking to Brazil. Listen to this. This pissed me off. This pissed me off because this is categorically untrue. Unless, and again, nothing Sony said is wrong, but can you really count on not only the people of Brazil that are looking at this, who are part of CADE, but even gamers? I've already seen Saltiest is in the chat. Hello, Saltiest. I've already seen fucking Salty and his brigade tweeting this out. Like, see, gotcha. Here's what he says. This is, I don't know who said it, but in terms of our assessment of what gamers want, it's quite simple, says Sony. Gamers want great games. That is the first and overwhelming perspective they have. I agree. Nobody would disagree with that so far. How are they delivered is a secondary concern. Mostly true as well. I think that's true for most people. I would say, says Sony, whether it's in absolute terms or in relative terms compared to our own history, or compared to anything that competitors are managing, we have never been in a stronger place with PlayStation Studios than we are now. We anticipate that position of strength and excellence will only continue and only grow. We are in a virtuous cycle. This is what he talked about this a while ago. I apologize. I'm drunk. I apologize. I'm a little bit tipsy on the diet soda. The point is, I'm going to get to it. This is not what I thought. This is what I thought it was, but I'm reading the wrong part of the article. Give me a break, man. I was up late fucking your mother. And she is about as dry as the bottom of the Grand Canyon that doesn't have the river part. And no matter what, it doesn't matter what I did. Listen to me. This is what they're talking about, though. Jim Ryan says this, or Sony says this in response to Cade. Fuck you. Fuck you. It's live, you fucker. You ever been to a live show? You ever been to a live show? I've been to Conan O'Brien. I've been to all the late night shows. I've been to wrestling, WWE. Just fuck you, Brian East. I think you're trying too hard on that insult. I tried too hard on your mother last night. I swear to God, I have rug burn. Not because we were rolling around the carpet, because that's how fucking dry your mother is. Listen to me. Come on now. This is what they said. Sorry, I got the wrong quote. While Sony agrees that subscription services compete with games purchased for a one-time fee, the lower immediate cost of subservices to consumers can make publishers who recoup significant investment in games by selling them for an upfront fee uncompetitive. This can harm consumers by reducing the quality of the game. And if whoever this, oh, here you go, Sony Interactive's legal counsel, Levy and Solomon, are the ones who responded. If they're talking about production quality of the game, they are absolutely right. They are absolutely right. There are very few people that would tell you that charging $70 out the gate versus putting it on a sub-service, at least right now, given the numbers of video game console owners and Game Pass players, very few people would be able to tell you, no one could tell you, honestly, that the $70 is not a better deal that's going to lead to more money that they can put back into production and make their money back quicker. I think that's obvious right now. But this is that conflating great production value, great graphics, with a great game. Sony has done so much for the industry. And I love Sony. Not forget the fact that I owe my career to them. I love so many of their games. I love what they've done for the industry. But one of the bad things they've done has really been to confuse or meld these ideas that expensive production value equals good. And I'm sorry, expensive production value equals good expensive production value. But to make such a comment like that, like if you're on a subscription service, it'll reduce the quality of the game. Fuck you. Fuck you. Look, some of my favorite games last year were Sony games. Returnal was up there. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart was up there. I'm aware. I'm aware they make brilliant games. Some of my favorite games. But what a dumb thing to say. What a dumb thing to put out there. And lo and behold, you see it. You see it all over the Twitter. See? Here's proof. You're gonna have bad games if subscriptions. Shut up, fucking morons. Fucking morons. Well, yeah, people in the chat are saying that Sony can't break contracts, or Activision can't break contracts with Sony. No, they can't. But who says they have to? They don't have a lock to all the Call of Duties in the future. And more importantly, I don't imagine they have a lock that says Call of Duty cannot be on their subscription on Game Pass. Because if they had that in the contract, I would imagine it would mean that it's coming to PS Network. Right? Why would you put something in the contract? They've done that in the past. It says, hey, we want to be first with this on our network, but you can't be on a competing subscription service for a year. Totally fine. But that's only when they have it on their network. So, Eric Lennon, you're just not right. I've been doing this for over 20 years. He says, it will reduce the quality. Less money also means less playtesting. No, it won't. It will absolutely reduce the scope and or the production value of the scope. And if you think that is the definition of a great game, or you can't have a great game without high production value and massive scope, then yes, Eric, you are correct. But most people who love the medium understand that good games, great games, have nothing to do with those things. And the idea that it means less playtesting, I mean, it means what it means. You can have a great producer who says, look, we only have this much money, and this is the kind of game we want to make sure we test the fuck out of. Come on now. I have seen that Sean Dunlap. Sean Dunlap totally taken us for a tangent. I apologize, but it's a great fucking tangent. He says, please watch the trailer for Journey to Hell. It's a Christian movie and it's already a classic. I don't know if the movie's out yet, but it's horrible. It's about this, it's just bad. It's worse than the movies I made like in 5th grade. It's absolutely terrible. But anyway, so I don't know. You know, Sony right now is doing great. I play my PlayStation 5 all the time. You know, I mean, Nintendo's doing better than everybody, but if we're talking Sony, Xbox, they're both seem to be doing well. But this just seems, it's like, you know what, Sony, fuck you. You know, it's, I mean, I get it. It's business. Your job is to play hardball, and that's fine. If you can tell these people, and with your legal people can tell these people, hey, here's why this deal would be bad for games, of course you're going to do that. It just, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm reading into it, but maybe I'm responding to a lot of the Twitter vitriol that's come out of these comments about this story. But it just feels like Sony's more like, that's not fair. It's like, well, fucking man the fuck up. Make a better mousetrap. Compete. You guys have some of the most creative people on the planet making your games. Some of the best technology on the planet. Don't take Call of Duty from us. Fuck you. Be a fucking man. Fight. Fucking fight. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what bothers me about it. Hello, Jay Charisma. Okay, let's move on. I'm waiting for Johnny Garvin to call in. It ain't happening, boys. It ain't happening. But listen, it goes, fuck you, Peapod. That's right. Peapod says, I remember you and Sony crying about used games a decade ago. That's exactly right. You goddamn right. I had a huge problem with them. And I never had a problem with the gamers. I had a problem with GameStop, who refused to work with the publishers to cut them into the used game deal, even though it was not their responsibility to take care of the publishers. But you know what happened? The publishers said, fuck it, let's press down hard on the accelerator and get to digital distribution faster than we were going to in the first place. And now digital sells more than retail. Fuck you, GameStop. But I was never upset with the players for that. I was always, find any interview I did talking about that shit, I was always give the gamer the best deal. That's all. The gamer's job is not to worry about the behind the scenes business shit. Brian King says, isn't that what Microsoft should have done? But they can't make anything original or good. You're talking about, should Microsoft have manned up and made something? Well, yes, but to be fair, I will agree with you. You know what I think about Microsoft's management. I think so far, proof's in the pudding. The pudding ain't good when it comes to their ability to execute. But hopefully that'll get better. But you never know. It may not. It may not. It may be their downfall. But I'm not one of these guys. It's like, you bought your way to success. Everybody buys their way to success. It's a ridiculous lack of understanding of how business works. Right? You have a business, Brian. You are one of the co-owners and creators of Icon Era, the brand new message board, gunning for the big boys over at Reset Era and NeoGAF. Well, if NeoGAF had, I know Evil Lore is not going to leave. Why would he leave? He owns it. But let's say Evil Lore's right-hand man, who really was the guy or the girl who made a lot of that system run. And you realized, you know what, fellas, to your partners, we can hire that motherfucker from Evil Lore and bring him over to work his magic here at Icon Era. You wouldn't do it? You wouldn't do it? You're paying to beat the competition, whether you buy an entire company or you hire the best programmer at the company or the best designer. I mean, that's how it works. You know, it almost seems like for a lot of y'all, there's a line in the sand that says, well, you can hire this many people to make your company better. But the minute it goes over this number of people, then I find it immoral. I think that's ridiculous. But that's just me. Your mileage may vary. But look, I'm about to beat up on Phil Spencer a little bit. Listen to this. You guys have to have seen this. This was a tweet thing going around. Xbox asked people, what was your first game, last game, favorite game, blah, blah, blah. The one that got, and he says the favorite game he's playing the most right now is Phil Spencer, head of Xbox. The game playing the most right now, Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels. I need to play that. I loved Forza. I love the Hot Wheels Unleashed game. Need to play the Forza one. But this is the one that got a little, and I have a problem with this. I think this was bad form for him. He says, game you want to play next. He says, God of War Ragnarok. Now, this is tricky because if I was Phil Spencer, meaning if I literally was in his job, I would just be honest. And if what I was looking forward to next had nothing, was my direct competition, I would probably say it. But that's why I'm not Phil Spencer. I don't know. Again, I think it's great because, for Sony and great for Eric and great for the team that, he's helping amplify God of War Ragnarok. It just seems really dumb. It's just like, what are you doing, man? This is not, you didn't get caught with a gotcha question from, little Jason Schreier. This was literally, you were replying to your own company, Xbox. Didn't anybody from PR say, do you have to be that entirely true? Brian E. says, no, so that's different. Brian E. says, Cory Barlog said weeks before he was looking forward to Starfield. He didn't say, hey, are you looking forward to God of War? He's made no bones about the fact that he's a fan of God of War. And that's great. I think that's healthy. The question wasn't that. The question was the game you want to play next. The game you want to play next. You don't have to mention your own game because that might come off as a little cheeseball. But you could mention a third-party game. I'm just saying. It didn't sit well with me. I would have done the same thing, right, that Phil did. I would have just been honest. But again, I'm not Phil. There's a reason I didn't ascend to the rarefied air of Sony corporate. Because I don't play those games. I have no interest in them, and I'm bad at them. Jaffe, can you check if you received the link? I don't know. Rob would have sent it to me. He hasn't sent it to me yet. I know he's busy doing some stuff, but I'll get it when I get it, buddy. And if I don't, I'll make a video and I'll watch it in a little bit. But yeah, I would have said Callisto, DeNova. If somebody said, Jaffe, what are you, assuming, I was in his chair, I would have said, Callisto, or I would have said, something. I would have thrown some light onto an indie game that maybe hasn't had a lot of people talking. But again, it's clear. The nice thing about Phil is maybe it's like, well, he's going to tell you like it is, but it seemed weird to me. I didn't like it, but I appreciated the honesty. Okay. Rob the Mod just sent it. Don't you get it, Jaffe says here, 3D Phil's playing 4D chess. I guess so. Hello, Bill Bones. It's nice to see you. All right, let's look at this. Thank you, Rob the Mod. Rob the Mod has hooked us up. Oh, shit. Jaffe, you old so-and-so. Hang on. Come on, Jaffe, you old so-and-so. The problem is, fellas, I just, hang on. It's not a big technical problem. I just got to pop the chat out again. Oh, it's so annoying. Jaffe, if you're that confident, why wouldn't you say it's like when Sony said we welcome Sega? If I'm that confident, doing what? Bacon Magnus says Phil disappointed me in his answer. He should have said he can't wait to play BB and Tina. Fuck yeah. RPG Rob, would you do me a big favor if you don't mind, if you're able? Can you send me that link on Discord? Because whenever I click it in the YouTube chat, it totally moves my chat around and it fucks everything up. All right. Look at that. Rob's Speedy Gonzalez. Look at that shit. All right. I will play this. Open link. But if it's really long, I'm not going to play it because I don't like long shit. It is 8 minutes. Fuck that. I'll watch it later and I'll respond to it later. but I do appreciate it. Thank you, sir. And I absolutely will give it a response, but I'm not going to watch an 8-minute video live, especially one that I haven't seen and prepared for. But here's one I have prepared for. We're going to talk about Gotham Knights for a little bit. Gotham Knights, is, this is not, okay, so Gotham Knights came out today with 16 minutes, 15 minutes of gameplay. I don't know if it was exclusive to IGN, but IGN is where I first fucking saw it, okay? And I want to talk to you, fellas and fillettes, about it because it's not good. It's just not good, right? I mean, is it me? Is it me? It's got to be me. It's not good. It's weird to the point of being like, what has happened? It's all, one day I really want a book written about why certain games couldn't get off the launch pad. What were the politics behind it, right? Because it's so evident, and this is a game that was already delayed, okay? So clearly they knew they needed to polish it up, but this is the best they could do? This is one of their big Christmas releases? Are you fucking shitting me? Thank God they have multiverses coming and Harry Potter coming, which looks great. And eventually Suicide Squad. This looks terrible. And it doesn't look terrible like it's, this is, the worst game ever made. It looks terrible in the sense that it looks so uninspired and so devoid of vision and passion and a direction. I just want to show you some takeaways that I saw from the trailer or from the gameplay that IGN went through the first 15 minutes. And I love Batgirl. I am a Batgirl fucking fan. I think she's sexy. I think she's cool. I'd go on a date with her. But her voice in this game is terrible. I'm just play you one little clip that stood out to me. Hang on. Here we go. Bring it over here. Hang on. Yep. There we go. Let's put it right there for you fellas. And listen to her.
I guess.
I decrypted the case Batman sent with his message. We should focus on that.
I looked it over.
Right? I mean, she doesn't say a lot yet, but oh my God. Terrible. Fucking terrible. Okay, let's keep going. There's a lack of production value in this game. Like this is the opening of the game. Let me just fucking show you this. This is the opening. You pick your character, and then this is what happens, right?
Construction sites, a quarry.
Let me just jump ahead a little bit.
Get it up and running.
Okay, watch this.
Who gets to talk to Langstrom?
Okay, so clearly there is this pause before each character speaks, like it's somehow searching for the right soundbite to play, which totally feels incredibly unpro, but keep listening. This is you picking your character.
Who gets to talk to Langstrom?
Now we go to Batgirl, and the guy picks Batgirl. She's just standing there. And then they're all just standing there. It's just quiet. Nothing's happening. There's no music. And then we go up and watch this. It's just like fade to black, and now there's this, and it's loading. It's like in this day and age, here's the thing. In this day and age of Naughty Dog and Sony Santa Monica and all the Sony first-party AAA single-player stuff, and I know this is multiplayer as well, I have always been like, the production value is not the most important thing, and I stand by that. But in a game like this, where you don't have anything else, like what else? What are you competing with, right? If you're making Unpacking, the indie darling from last year that I adored, and you don't have production value making people's eyeballs bleed, that's fine, because that's not what it's focused on. But in a game like this, it's clearly a AAA $60, $70 game. It's clearly about competing with the big boys. And what the fuck? Who the fuck lets a game go out and say, this is the first... Look at it. Just look how bare bones. They just stopped talking. They're all in their idle animation. Like, even look at Batgirl when she you select her. She's just like, watch. It's weird. It's almost like they're marionettes.
Who gets to talk to Langstrom?
Now I pick Batgirl. Watch this. Right, what is this? What is this? It looks terrible. Okay, we'll keep going though. Kenny, thank you for the super chat, buddy. I appreciate it. He says, Microsoft is building the Netflix of games. Sony, in my opinion, has a reason to worry about a monopoly shaping up. Streaming is the future of video games. Oh, I agree with all that. But to be fair, those are very different things. If you're talking, and I'm going to stay on Gotham Knights, but I appreciate the super chat. And if you want, I can come back to it later. But all I will tell you is, there's the subscription model issue and there's the streaming issue. I don't think anybody's worried about streaming right now because it's going to be a while, but it's wonderful when it works. To be fair to Sony though, or to Microsoft, Sony got to streaming before Microsoft did. So I don't know what monopoly they're building up. The thing that they've said is the monopoly is with Call of Duty, but let's keep going. Okay. So the other thing, well, there's a lot of things, but one of the other things that really bugs me about this is let me show you this. Let me show you this. I apologize. I was going to edit it together and be all fancy schmancy, and then I was just like, you know what? I got to make a video first. So anyway, this is terrible. So the game is obviously very heavily influenced by combat. It's all about their combat, it seems. But then there's all this story stuff, and it is like it is made. It reminds me of like a virtual reality first gen experience that like, oh, your mom can play it. Remember when Sony put out their VR headset and you got in the cage and you went underwater and the sharks attacked and you couldn't lose. You know, you could not find the shark. It was pretty much on a rail. This isn't that. But I want you to look at some of this gameplay when it's not combat and ask yourself, who is this for? Especially given that the combat, whether it's good, bad, or otherwise, is clearly not aimed at like soccer moms. So you've got this combat that seems like it's trying to be at least a little challenging and interesting, coupled with this single player first person shit that, let me just show you this. It's insane. It's fucking insane. Julian Watkins, thank you for the super chat, buddy. He says, hey, I'm not looking forward to Gotham Knights. It's hard to put my finger on it other than to say it just feels generic. I think it feels... fuck you, Eric. I think it feels soulless, as Novodama said. I think it feels like there is no visionary guiding this ship, and that's very clear. This has design by committee written all over it. One moment, my child is here. We will look at Batgirl in just a moment. Hello, Calvin. Your father's hyper, and I'm streaming. Yes. When I go to the grocery store tonight. Okay.
Also, Mom is not coming over.
She's not coming over.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I already planned to visit my friends.
Okay. Then I'll. Okay.
And then we should do a shot soon. I don't know when you're done with your stream, but.
An hour, 45 minutes. All right, buddy. That's my boy. That's my boy. Yes, Calvin is still making music. Okay. So here we go. Okay. Well, wait a minute. King of the North says, I don't know. Everyone said the same stuff about Guardians of the Galaxy. Absolutely. Guardians of the Galaxy was one of the best games last year, but, you know, Square Enix dropped the fucking ball because the trailers were terrible. And anyone, including me, should be forgiven for looking at Guardians of the Galaxy this time last year and going, it's going to be a piece of shit. Why would you not think that if you go back and watch the trailers? But it was phenomenal. So, yeah, you never know. You never know. But these things get released by the PR groups, by the marketing groups, so we can judge them and decide if we want to buy them. So they put this out. They didn't put this out to say, wait, hold your horses, don't form an opinion. They put it out so we'd form an opinion. Well, here's my opinion. Watch this gameplay just briefly. So she comes into the office.
Langstrom must have been killed somewhere else.
Okay. Okay, how many more times do we need this in a game? Your magic vision, your detective vision, Jin Sakai's ninja vision or samurai vision, on and on. Fine, whatever. So she sees this little area.
Those marks look fresh.
All this is just canned. And it just says, okay, go here, right? Now, I think part of it may also be the fact that it's coming off of Elden Ring, which was not some niche hit. It's the biggest game of the year. And I fucking adored it. And it's a game that doesn't hold your hand. And I'm not saying a mainstream game like this shouldn't be a lot more accessible. Sure. But this game's basically playing itself when it's not in combat, right? So she's looking for the murder scene. Let me just jump ahead for you. So this is her. She finally finds the murder scene.
The cops cleared out of here way too
Watch
fast.
this. So now I'm just going to show you some
Langstrom
cutscenes.
must have been working when he was attacked.
Like-
Significant blood loss here. Evidence of a struggle, then the attacker pinned him to the wall. They were merciless.
Like, what is this? This is, I mean, fine. Well, let's keep going.
Langstrom was dying, but he tried to get to that cabinet instead of the door. What was so important?
She sounds like the little girl in Gravity Falls, Mabel. That's what she sounds like. Right, so I'm not doing any of the detectiving. Like, they just show, there's a hidden mechanism that just shows itself to me.
What secrets were you keeping, Dr. Langstrom?
Right, none of this is player controlled. It's just like, it's almost like you're just writing it. Now, this is great. This is the detectiving. She's trying to figure out where the panel is to open the secret door. Watch what the game does. It's like it's somewhere between this and this, like in the Jerk, between this shelf and this shelf. Pick your crap. Watch this. I am mad at this game for some
A
reason.
thermostat would be a clever place to hide a keypad.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, I'm Batgirl. Yeah.
A microwave. I hope Langstrom wasn't combining burritos with genetic specimens.
That's not Batgirl. What the fuck are you doing?
Langstrom made sure to remember those dates. I should too.
Now watch this. There's all the things that you would be like, oh, what can I
Phone
do?
number, but that's not a Gotham area code.
Now watch this.
That'd be useful.
Of course it's useful. You know why? Because you literally, it says up here, the passcode is 127. I mean,
Time to see what Langstrom
it doesn't
was so
even let you
desperate to
enter.
hide.
It's just ridiculous. Yeah, Masochista says you're mad at it because it's soulless, Jaffe. It doesn't bring anything to the table. It just feels so like, what are you fucking people doing? What are you fucking people doing? But let me keep going. Oh, there's more, baby. There's more. Look at this. I got to show you guys this. Yeah, I'm annoyed at this game. This game really gets my goat. Isn't that crazy? It's just a fucking game. Just don't play it, Jaffe. I know, but it's what it represents. Just what's happening over there. All right, watch this. Watch. This is shit that looks almost like she's about to go open the doors and go outside, right? This almost feels like PS2 era, the bouncer, or that level of polish, right? Watch this. Watch these NPCs. Just watch the animation. Right? Okay, so they have that. Fine. It just feels super fucking cheap, right? And then listen to some of the dialogue, man. Is this a $70 current gen only? Are you shitting me, Bacon Magma? Are you shitting me, Bacon Magma? Okay. Listen to this. Listen to some of this dialogue. So she's gonna fight the guy, whatever. The fighting looks fine. I know you're saying they removed the counters, blah blah blah. I'm not a fight. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying I can't tell you whether that matters or not for me. But what I can tell you is, the combat looks kind of fun. It's like, all right, that's clearly where they put their effort. And then they surrounded it with all this fucking gameplay that's not clearly fun. But anyway, let's keep going because I want you to hear some of the writing. It is insane.
Freaks are here?
With Batman missing, gangs have become more aggressive. It was only a matter
Okay, listen to this guy.
I can't focus on torching this place with all that racket. Turn off the damn fire alarm up there.
So all the guys in the game seem to be obsessed with fire. And I was like going, is that like a story point? Like, are they the firebugs or something? Because I think that exists in Batman lore, but they're not called that. They're called the Freaks. So I don't understand, but let's keep going. Another one of these, it shows you 20 times. Look, you can sneak up behind someone. And if you do a stealth takedown, how many more? It's just, everything is just so fucking been there, done that. How can they live with themselves? I don't know. I don't know. I've seen all these moves before. Not the animations, but the mechanics. Okay, now listen. We're about to get more fire dialogue. Listen, this is great.
Fire alarm! Die! Die! Die!
Die, fire alarm, die, die, die. Another back takedown.
You deserve a break.
The Firefly Gang, is that what they're called? Is that these guys? Because they're called Freaks. Here, listen.
The average temperature when something lights on fire is between 424 and 475 Fahrenheit.
Now, the best one, there's two good ones coming up about fire.
Hey, look up here! I'm a professor of setting stuff on fire!
Right? Because they're setting a school on fire, so he's a professor of setting stuff on fire, I suppose, right? Hey, let's check out some more generic gameplay. Watch it. Here we go.
I can probably stay out of sight here.
I wonder what she should do. Fuck you! Adversary. Look at this. Oh, where have I seen this before? Over and over. Oh, a silent takedown from above? Huh. Who is this for? Now listen, it gets better. Listen to this shit.
Smashy, smashy, smash, smash! Smashy!
She's just like, she killed him because the dialogue. She's like, I will fuck you. I'm killing you because go fuck yourself. Because here's another one. Another one brilliant one's coming up.
You burn now, grass. No one will mow you ever again.
What in the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? Smashy, smashy, smash. It's like Chucky from the series, who I love.
What are they even doing here?
Okay, now I want to show you a little bit more. And then we'll move on. But the voice acting's terrible. The gameplay is... I want to show you guys some of the worst. And I hate to be a dick, but they put it out there to judge. This animation you're about to see, when the camera comes over to the atrium and pans down, this looks like alpha. It's like, did Fred get the animation in that I did this weekend? Yeah, it's in, but it's all placeholder. At least it's in. We'll fix it after we get through alpha, right? Watch this. Watch this.
It could bring the whole building down.
Here we go. She's going to come up the steps. I guess this guy... Now watch this. Watch the people down below. Watch this. Look at that.
Hostages.
Woohoo! Yeah! Yeah! I mean, they're just doing this loop. Shit. It looks horrible. Now, the last thing I'll show you, there is a boss in here that I think, what this looks like is most of the game right here. Right? And then you're doing it with your friends and you've got bosses and all that, but, and maybe it'll be fun. But you can't build your house on a foundation of quality production value and then think people are going to be okay with this, right? You know what this game feels like to me? I brought this up. This game of the PS2 era really feels like the Minority Report game. Like Activision, that was the worst thing when they made that game, Minority Report, it was just like, it epitomized everything that was wrong with licensed games back then. This is Minority Report, right, from the movie, although you don't play anyone who looks like Tom Cruise, but it's just room after room of fighting and some cutscenes and fighting and some cutscenes, right? It's the same fucking design document from 2006, whatever the fuck this was. Maybe before. Okay, so I want to show you this. This boss. So this boss comes out the door, and he's pretty fucking cool. I like his design. Watch this guy.
Broken. Let's see if you'll break too.
So he's kind of neat. I'd be like, that's a cool boss to fight. Oh, he's not a boss, whatever. But a big brute. But the fight itself is very rote, very generic. Been there, done that 1,000 times. Who cares? It's the same shit. Oh, he's charging. You've got to dodge. You've got to break his shield. Same old shit. Same old fucking shit. But I want to show you the thing that really got my goat, and it's right here. And again, this is one of those things that if you are about production value, and this game clearly is, if this game was all stylized and we're like, look, man, we're all about the combat, cool. But they're clearly trying to tell a story with cutscenes and there's adventuring and all. No. Because you're now competing against the Naughty Dogs where they've set that bar. I want you to look at Batgirl when she walks away from this bruiser guy, okay? Here she comes. She's going to knock him back, and then she's going to turn and walk towards the camera, right? Look at her. Look at her. Her face doesn't change. She has no expression. Right? Naughty Dog has changed the game. Santa Monica has changed the game. Even potentially Avengers, which I think was a better produced game than this. You can't. That character just looks like a model that's animating. She's got no expression on her face. It looks so cheap and so underproduced. Look at that. It's like, what are you doing? She's terrible. I don't care if it's a B team. Denova says it's a B team. What do I care? Are they going to charge me $30 instead of $70? If not, fuck you. Look at that. It's like she's not even present in the fight. Anyway, there you go. That's my take on Gotham Knights. I'm going to tell you the Metacritic. I don't think that the publishers are going to be... not the publishers. I don't think the reviewers are going to be as harsh as I am. But based on the first 15 minutes, if this is indicative of the game you're getting for $70, I would say this is going to end up, after about 2 weeks on the market, at about between a 68 and a 74. But if I had to guess where the market will do, if I had to guess where the reviewers would put it, I'd say like a 72. There's no way this is an 80. Rag says maybe 80. No fucking way. No fucking way. But we'll see. Jerry says a 6. To me, it would be a 5.5 out of 10. But I think Metacritic, mark my words, I'll go back and make a video when it comes out. My guess is after 2 weeks being on the market, this is going to be sitting at 68 to 74. I'm going to lock in at 72. Jalapeno says it's a 64 out of 100. No, Ghidorah says it's an easy 100. There you go. MAGA hat, if it hits 85, I will not burn the mat. Well, when is God of War coming out? November. Yeah. Okay, sure. You got it. You got it. Absolutely. I don't know what that is, Steffi. Steffi says this is a butterscotch lollipop type game. I have no idea what that is. Maybe we'll do a vote over on the Discord, and we'll have a prize for it, whoever wins. Okay, but there you go. That's Gotham Knights. Do with that what you will. I think it looks really uninspired and... No, I will not donate to Ted Cruz's campaign. No. No, because that will actually help him. Me wearing a MAGA hat, people know it's a fucking joke. All right, hang on a second. Okay. Sorry, I'm looking at... You know what? What do we got? Sorry, fellas. I'm trying to get this thing set up properly. One moment. Un momento! Steffi says if this game were a lollipop, it would be butterscotch flavor, which is one of the worst. Oh, yeah, it's like the flavor that ends up... we have a drawer here, the candy drawer, which I assume most homes have. And inevitably... It's not butterscotch because my kid likes butterscotch, but there'll be those flavors that you're like, oh my God. Nobody's fucking eating that. Nobody fucking wants that shit. Okay. I want to talk about, I just want to show you this. I don't have a lot to say about it, but it's just sad, man. It's just sad. I want to show you this TikTok that this game developer put up. But first, let me go to John Flattery. Hello, John Flattery. He's been a member of the Diet Soda Soldiers for 7 months. Every night he dreams of Becky Lynch knocking on his door and saying, "Come with me and let the man show you how to feel like a woman." John Flattery says, "I just had butterscotch bread pudding. Quite delicious." He is from the old country. Okay, well, thank you for being a member, sir, and thank you for sharing your culinary adventures with us. I appreciate it. Yes, he's from the Connecticut Flatteries. That's right, from the Alabama Flatteries. Listen to me. Her name is Leslie. Okay, she's a game developer. I don't know how I came across this because I don't follow her. Somebody must have retweeted her. She's a producer now at Beat Saber. She used to do narrative and design writing at Boundless, 2K, Riot, others. There you go. Okay, here's what she said. This is what she put up on the TikTok, and then I guess she reposted it here on the Twitters. Watch this.
Hi, do you want to work in the games industry? Consider these things first. Do you like not being paid well unless you work at like 2 specific studios? Do you like to plan your life around potential layoffs?
Do you like planning your life around layoffs, potential layoffs, she says.
For a new friend group with roots and trauma?
Are you looking for a new friend group with roots and trauma?
Being harassed by your player base?
Do you like being harassed by your
coworkers?
player base? What about being harassed by your coworkers?
Working on something and not getting credit for it? If you answered yes to any of those, then you might have a future in games. So come on, don't be shy. What's holding you back? Games are for everyone. Go ahead and submit your resume to that role that already has 500 other applicants. What's the worst that could happen? Hi.
Right. This sounds a little spotty, but hopefully you got the idea. Okay. So I want to just briefly talk about this. Nothing that she is saying. Nothing that she is saying is surprising. We've heard this a million times. And, you know, to the credit of the companies I work for and that I co-owned, I never saw any of this at all. But I know it existed. But I just wasn't either privy to it or I didn't have friends at the company who mentioned it. And also Sony was a very up and up company. Oh, God. A2 says she probably wrote the dialogue for Batgirl. You guys just listen, though. And it's really disheartening to read some of the comments. She says, well, she does say a disclaimer. She's happy in her job now. But somebody said, lots of places make you design a full level complete with polish and a script as a test. A lot of people get upset with that. I don't get upset with that. We always offer to pay them for that, but I need you to design something if I'm going to hire you as a designer, and I need to see it on paper or in a gray box level. But anyway, this guy says, when y'all are looking for a bit more security, better pay, and better hours, come join us in the corporate software dev or test world. We will let you go home with time left over to play games. And then somebody else was saying, yeah, I'm starting to think that games are not for me. Like there was this woman who wrote in and said, the games are not for me because of all the things they're hearing. Again, I don't have anything to add to this other than to say it's terrible, you know, but I mean, maybe that's every job. I don't fucking know. But if I was a young person thinking about getting into video games, I think at this point, like unless you have a very interesting way that you plan to navigate the negatives of gaming, and I'm not talking indie, I'm talking she's clearly been working at these big budget locations. Unless you have a really clever take on how you're going to make your career different, I don't know if I could consider someone who wants to work in AAA smart enough to hire in AAA at this point. Because why would you know what this industry is now? And one of the worst ones is she's like, yeah, it might be getting better with work from home, but this idea of like, you know, the constant fear of having to relocate. When I was in the industry, even when I was sort of top of the pops and I could pretty much write my own ticket, I was worried about, can I fucking buy a house? Because I don't fucking know what the future holds. Now, no one has a crystal ball, but you know, she's not wrong. She's not wrong. Beat says, well, she's happy as a game dev. Her video is not true. Well, she's saying there's only a couple of companies that treat their employees this way. She's literally working at Beat Saber right now. She's not working. Look where she worked before, right? She worked at 2K, Riot, others. Beat Saber is just a company that makes one piece of software. And my guess is, if they show us the team, I wonder if they have an About Us. My guess is there ain't many of them there. Usually there's like a picture of the staff. I want to see how many people work at Beat Saber. What's Beat Saber? Oh, it's a phenomenal VR game. Jaffe, game development is the worst paying and worst conditions of software development. People who do it don't know that yet, or they do it for love. I do a lot of shit for love, but like Rob said, just do indie. But it is what it is. I mean, some people might not want to do indie. They might want to just make texture maps, and I get it. That's fair. I just think, I don't know, people. It sounds terrible. Like if I was more of a trench worker in games, and it's like, Jaffe, you are the texture map guy. I wouldn't. I couldn't stay in that career for more than a week. I'd be like, fuck you people. Sounds terrible. Gravity says, I originally intended to work in the games biz, but was scared away by the low pay and insecurity. I enjoy the grind, but the pay difference between games and software development is too high. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not knocking this lady. I like her. I mean, I like her video. I think she's right. I'm just saying that, hell, I've watched some of her stuff now that I see this. Apparently this is talking about what's interesting? This is Sony behind her, by the way. I'm not saying that was intentional, but how could it not be intentional? Watch this video real quick. She says, what if game development was like a coming of age movie? But this is the Sony building that she's staying. I think that's either Sony or EA. I think that's Sony. Hang on, let's keep going though.
Crazy last day, huh? Yeah. Hey, Sloan. Brad. I just wanted to say thank you for being patient with me. I know we haven't always seen eye to eye. And sorry for physically and emotionally harassing you all these years. Anytime. With the studio closing, what are you gonna do next? I don't know. But I have a feeling everything is gonna be alright. Crazy last day, huh? Yeah. Hey, Sloan.
Whatever. I'm just saying there's something. You know what? Let me just say this. I'm glad I got out of AAA because there's so much I have a problem with. I have a problem with the fact that this is the life a lot of people put up with. But I also have a problem with how shitty games can be because everyone thinks the company is there to make your dick feel better. I hate this mentality that is spreading as younger people get into the industry that says, oh, this is supposed to be just, it's supposed to make your dick feel better. It's like, no, you're supposed to make fucking hits. You're supposed to bust your ass to make amazing shit for people. So it wouldn't be for me. It wouldn't be for me anymore, which is fine. I'd try to do what Rob's doing if I could do indie games. Yeah, John Flattery says, it reminds me of working in the sports industry. You're taken advantage of because it's such an appealing space to be in. I can absolutely see that. Okay. I want to talk very briefly. By the way, let me get the super chat real quick. Carl B. Man has been a member for 14 months. Thank you, buddy. He says, I've been chasing tails. Is that bad? I don't know what that means, man. I'm 51 years old. I don't know what that means, but you seem to be doing well. You seem to be making a name for yourself in the mafia. And in that, I'm proud of you, buddy. So I think you're on the up and up, pal. Poor Degenerate has been a member for 6 months. Thank you, pal. Hey, Jaffe says, Poor Degenerate, happy to support you. I appreciate it, man. Keep making good content. I'm a fan from Saudi Arabia. Buddy, let me fucking tell you something. Where is it? I got to show you this goddamn thing. You guys, you guys have seen that fucking Saudi Arabia. Hang on. Thank you for supporting, buddy, and thank you for your comment. I just want to. You've seen the line. Is this fucking real? Is this fucking thing real? Or are you shitting me? Look at this. You know what I'm talking about, right? Well, I'm going to talk about Grand Theft Auto in a second. I got to show you this thing if you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen this cockadoodie thing, you got to see it. This is crazy. This is fucking crazy. Is this fucking real? Look at this. They are going to try to build this city. Watch this.
I see trees of green.
And I wouldn't put it past them to do it, given all the money they spend on that stuff.
What a wonderful
I mean, if you're listening, all I can tell you is search the line Saudi Arabia, because I can't describe what I'm looking at.
What a wonderful world.
This is not science fiction. They are building a line between two reflective giant towers. It takes you 14 minutes in their transportation to get from one end to the other. It's stacked on top of each other. I would be terrified people would be falling all the time. But apparently, I mean, what the fuck? What the fuck? That's a real thing. They're actually working on it now. Anyway, I have ADD. That was a tangent because he said he was from Saudi Arabia. But, you know, I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you, sir. All right. Jerry A., thank you, buddy. He's been a member for 17 months. He says, Jaffe bites are the bee's knees. Keep up the good work, Papa Jaffe. Thanks, sir. I appreciate it very, very much. Very, very much, sir. Yeah, I hope there won't be crunching while making that. Can you imagine? It's like, well, we have to go home. It's 5. I've played some puppet combo games, Gravedigger. I don't know if I've played Murder House, though, but I'm a very big fan of those folks. Okay. I want to talk briefly about Grand Theft Auto a little bit. Hey, we're getting all the old-timers. Thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate it, buddy. He says, Jaffe, what are the biggest differences between film directing and game directing? I mean, I've never directed a full-on film before. I've directed student films, and I've directed like things for video game films for like Twisted Metal and stuff. You know, I would say the biggest, I mean, there are practical differences, of course. I mean, you're working with actors a lot every day almost when you're in production. That's a small part of directing a video game. But I think it's also just making films is very collaborative, but because so much of it is not stagnant, but it's defined and it's unionized, you're not having to also deal with both the technical, creative, and political challenges that come from navigating a space that, out of necessity, changes every month or two in terms of new tech or new ideas or whatever. You don't have a screenplay to start with. So it's actually, I don't think it's harder or easier. It's, in some ways, it's a very different skill set. I would say it's probably a lot more political as well, because on a film set, you know, if you're getting guff from the DP, you fire him and there'll be like 1,000 more the next morning to take his place. If you and your CTO are having issues, you're kind of fucked, because on any given day, you don't know which one's the most important one. And you can't lose your CTO when you're getting into alpha, for example, or close to alpha. So it's, there's a lot of politics that I don't think on a film set, I don't mean you can be a dick on a film set, but I don't think on a film set exist in that same way to that magnitude. Okay. Okay. I want to talk briefly just about, do I want to talk about that? Hang on. You know what? Let me get this super chat. This is from Rambo Jr. Thank you, buddy. He says, been a while. Thank you so much for being you and sharing your thoughts to the many that are willing to listen. I appreciate it, buddy, and thank you for being a member for 19 goddamn months. Who's the next big studio that's going to get bought? Oh, man. Well, I mean, everybody's speculating that it's going to be Square Japan that Sony is going to purchase. But, I mean, you know, who knows? I mean, I'm certainly sure there are things happening behind the scenes right now that we just don't know about. Gravity says Ubisoft by Amazon. Could be. Bacon says, I think Sony's going to buy Ubisoft. I don't know why you would. I mean, I guess Assassin's Creed, like, what are you really buying at that point? Like, the dumbest thing, and again, we don't know everything that happened, but the fact that Microsoft or Sony did not beat, I don't even know if they competed for it. They may not have been given the opportunity. Maybe Embracer Group that bought Eidos and Crystal Dynamics and sort of the Square companies in America and Canada said, hey, take it or leave it, $300 million. If you guys go around and start shopping, we're pulling the offer. I have no idea. But the fact that Sony and Microsoft could have gotten if nothing else, Tomb Raider and these amazing talented teams for $300 million, a little bit more, I don't fucking know. But they are making a new Tomb Raider right now, so at least they're going to continue it with Embracer. And at the beginning of the show, we talked a little bit about it based on what Colin was saying on his show about the screenplay that leaked. Okay. So here's the deal. There's some stuff I definitely want to talk about Grand Theft Auto. I got some really interesting questions on Twitter. One is from a guy named LOT+Is. And then our very own Gravity sent me a super thanks, which I appreciate, about a speech John Carmack gave recently, not recently, 2018, but it was about software development, video game development, and how it's relevant to this day. I was going to talk about all those, but I'm honestly really fried. I think because I did that news thing earlier today, and so I just had I didn't plan my day very well, so I'm kind of getting sleepy. I'm an old man. I need my nap and my pie. So here's what we'll do. I will be back. The next Cabinet Games probably tomorrow. Can't imagine it won't be tomorrow. I don't know. I will be rescheduling the Review Tech USA this week. Hopefully, his editor ended up going to the hospital, so his whole day got fucked. So hopefully, we'll talk tomorrow and reschedule it for later in the week. But for now, I'll see you tomorrow with some new videos. I'll see you tomorrow with a new stream. If you like what you saw tonight, I sure hope you'll consider becoming a member or subscribing to the channel or liking the channel or just coming on back next time and seeing what we got to offer. I appreciate you guys all being here. RPG, thank you for modding. Robert, the modder, I know he had to cut out, but thank you for modding. All the members, thank you guys for supporting the show and allowing it to be what it is. Fellas, I'm out. I will see you guys very, very soon. Take it easy, y'all.
We could just go home right now, or maybe we could stick around for just one more drink. Oh yeah.